Be strong.
Neil Smith, Jason Draven, roster of the people, week 11. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. There you go. Got that out of the way nice
You
and
get
early.
a full course meal tomorrow with 3 games. You like that? No.
No, I want to kick you out, but it's too.
And then there's dessert on Friday because you get a Black Friday game. It's like a deal.
How many more do you have? How many more do you have? You just do them all now. Get them all out.
I just thought of them. My bad. But that was off the top of the dome, as fresh as I could be.
You didn't laugh at my hilarious story, and that's what you came back with? Do I have to tell that story on air? Because the audience is going to love it. Especially this group of people. They'll know what I'm talking about.
I chuckled.
Oh, Lord.
He's
just salty because he can't get into his rankings and he can't figure out why. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting.
We're just guessing, so it'll be.
I have my rankings.
I have a general idea, but
apparently Jason cannot get into his rankings, so I apologize that we're running a little bit late, folks. But that would be why. And we were supposed to have Lance Exley on with us tonight, and I will apologize on Lance's behalf, but he's dealing with a family emergency, and he let me know about it earlier today when it happened. So it doesn't seem like it's a great situation. So hearts go out to Lance. Hopefully that gets resolved in a positive way here in the next couple of days, because it sounded like an all hands on deck emergency. So we'll have him on at some point a little bit later in the season. So to kick off the holiday season officially, that's right. It's going to be Jason and Neil bickering like an old married couple. The show 12 weeks in. He doesn't even acknowledge me anymore. Look at him. He doesn't even make eye contact.
Very rarely. It's tough for me to think more than like 2 steps ahead. So
I've noticed. He's also still trying to get into his rankings. I can see the wheels turning. I can watch. You think you're slick. You think I don't know. Like, he's still looking at his monitor in the background, trying to figure out how can I get into my rankings? How did I lock myself out of my rankings? Why am I locked out of my rankings? It occupies about 33% of his brain right now, I think. And there's a 33% fantasy football, 33% that, and 33% I don't know what's going on. I assume it's some sort of Wile E. Coyote cartoon. That's kind of my theory. One day he'll get the Roadrunner. Look at him. Look at him. Look at how he focuses. See? Look at him focus. It's like,
fine, I'll just cheat. I'll put it right over your face.
I could go. We could just let the audience. Like, I got stuff I could do. He figured it out. He figured it out. That was like watching that experiment where the gorilla stacks the boxes to get the bananas that someone is tied to the ceiling. That was like watching footage of that. That's like what that was.
Well, I had tried earlier today. I'm like, okay, I can't get to it clearly. I'm having issues. I'm like,
explain
whatever.
That's good.
I'm
just happy you're into your rankings, and now we can actually do the show.
The other issue is, why do people force you to work on a Wednesday before Thanksgiving? Because I had no motivation. And of course, I get stacks of stuff towards the end of the day, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this.
I was in a bit of a mood today as well. I will say, I was definitely in a bit of a mood earlier today, because you always have that one person. I had 90% of people didn't bother me all day today. You got this one individual that just it's just they are unprepared, and suddenly it's the last day before they're going to be gone, and suddenly everything's a fire drill. And I'm like, you have had weeks to figure this out, and you knew about it, and you just waited till the last second. Just good old fashioned not planning. Like, good stuff. Now, I definitely did not take a lunch break today at around 2:00, hoping that when I got back that person would be gone. I definitely did not do that. That never happened. That's slanderous. That's just complete fallacy.
Never be the case. Not here. Not a thing.
No, not in America. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy 4 days off continuously, because that's what I'm gonna do. That is what I am doing. Like, all right.
Team,
Bobby Lewis has an actual fantasy question. I guess we'll do one.
Love it.
While we're here.
10
team half PPR. Flex start. It's got to be Nico, right?
I don't know, man. I'm close.
I feel like I'm taking Stevenson out of this.
Yeah, it's between Collins and Warren. Warren has 3 games that he's rushed for over 100 yards.
Yes.
The
way he's done that
is mind.
Dig too deep into that. But he has done it. It happened.
And he plays the Bengals, who don't have.
It's sort of like that Gus Edwards 80-yard rushing or receiving touchdown. Don't look too deep at it. Don't actually look at it. Just it did happen. Yeah, he had 80 yards. He had 80 yards receiving. One play.
And they fired Matt Canada. Like, could be good things. Maybe
they did fire.
Kind of where
poor old Matt Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Fine. I'll do it the cheater way. I feel like my answer is going to be Warren here.
Yeah, it's between.
He's
Warren
just
and
been
Collins.
too good to. He's just too good.
And he's on a heater.
He's on a heater. That is not analysis. You do understand that for the 3 people that are actually watching this today, and I appreciate you bearing with us through all of this, that you do understand that like the concept of being due is statistically impossible, right? Because everything is dice rolls.
But it kind of works for me. When I have one that hits and they're due, it's
you can't. But being due is statistically impossible.
If that's the case, your play is Collins because he's due. He hasn't had that 100-yard game yet in the past like 4 games.
Oh Lord, here we go. All right. Yeah, I knew it would be close. I have Warren 3 spots ahead in my flex rankings.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. If I was real, the only reason I would play Stevenson, there's only one possible reason you'd play Stevenson out of those 3. And it's if I'm projected to win by a lot. And I just need like guaranteed points because Stevenson does play the Giants. So I sort of get that.
Yeah.
But, I'd probably rather the upside of either of the 2 because he has the lowest. He has the lowest ceiling at the moment.
But they have also started to sprinkle him more back into that passing game, which is helping him. I just don't think that they're going to need to.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. Is because that's the thing. The Patriots are bad enough that this isn't actually like the cupcake matchup that it normally would be. Because it's 2 bad teams. This is like when an unstoppable, what is that like? An unstoppable force meets an immovable object of bad.
Yeah.
They're like equally crappy. So it's kind of like there's no real advantage here.
Like a tsunami hitting a hurricane.
Yeah, it's like there's all kinds of room for schlock in that game because it's 2 bad teams. So you don't know really, like you can't narrative that one out.
Yeah.
It ain't Brady's Patriots. So
yeah, it's a great matchup for him. I do have him higher because of that than he has been in the past. But Texans also play the Jaguars, which, but it's really just, it's the Steelers playing the Bengals with the backup QB and Higgins still dealing with injury and
Warren generally playing well.
Yeah.
You hope
not needing a whole lot of volume.
You hope that the whole Warren's involvement wasn't Matt Canada's idea.
Yeah.
Because that'll look real stupid. Like, that'll look real stupid real quick if Mike Tomlin turns around and goes, "No, I'm a Najee guy." Like that'll make you look real dumb real hard, and you can't predict Mike Tomlin. Don't try; it's not worth it. Like but I still say based on what we've seen so far, my choice of the 3 is Warren. It's close, but
yeah, I agree. It's Warren.
All right.
Yes.
Does he mean Darrell Henderson?
He does.
Okay. That's what the cool kids are calling him now. I wouldn't know. That's
So Henderson got waived, waived with no recall.
I wouldn't care if there was recall. I assume he means Jaden Reed, and that's what I would like.
I also like the idea of if you need a defense, playing the Broncos this week, not the worst idea.
Yeah, if you were hard up at defense, I could see that if you just needed a one time.
Not even really hard up. It's the Browns. It's going to be like
No, what I mean is
game
if he didn't have a good defense to start. Is what I mean.
okay. Yeah.
Like if you didn't have a good defense, Denver is a good streamer. Is what that.
And they've been
actually,
stepping up quite a bit the past.
Well, that's why they keep winning games, is because the turnover margin. That's the only reason they're in games, is because they turn the ball over, or they are generating enough turnovers to win.
Yeah,
that is the way that would go. But yeah, whatever you choose, any of those three things would be better than quote unquote Hendo. My choice on them, if I want a player, you don't want Likely.
Nope.
No,
I can't do it, man.
I guess if I was starting Likely, like I had Andrews and there was nothing available, that might be what you had to do. Like,
yeah, you have to be real thin.
It has to be. You have to be streaming all year, and there's nothing left. Like, but yeah, we'll see.
I prefer Tanner Hudson this week with the rookie or
yeah,
Brownie.
But either way, the one you want that's available here in my mind is Reed. I want Jaden Reed.
Yeah,
that's the thing that has actual upside, and especially if that's a keeper league. If that's a keeper league or something like that, I especially would like to see Jaden Reed next year and be able to retain the rights on that.
But just so you know, he is dealing with a chest injury, so you kind of want to keep an eye on that. Okay.
This guy, showing off his jewelry. What up, Polo?
Hey, Polo.
Yeah. Oh my God. $5 and.
I dropped a 7.
Well, if it's just Jason and I, $5 and probably Sunday. $5 and Sunday would be my guess. You done doing family stuff by Sunday?
I could probably do it Saturday afternoon, so we could get it to him by Sunday.
I could probably do it Saturday afternoon if I had to. $5, Daniel. It's on the website. Roster resolution. Wait, has the trade deadline passed? Okay. Answer that question.
Yeah,
that might be important. Okay, I would like to hold the Browns defense, and I really don't want to carry two defenses. So, who do the Browns play this week? Help me out. Steelers?
Not
yes.
Steelers.
Yes, Steelers?
Let me see. Give me a sec. Broncos.
Oh, yeah. No, play the Browns.
Play
the Browns. Just play the Browns. Just don't overthink this. Play the Browns. You don't need the Broncos defense. That's fine. Like,
it's
Browns is a real good defense. That's a defense that you just can keep. Like, you can just keep that. You don't need multiple defenses.
I'm really hoping that Dolphins just are able to roll with me the rest of the season. Lions did pop up on my waivers, though, so I'm also tempted to go there, too. Need to drop 1 for Williams. More Shaheed, Taysom, probably more.
More, I think. It's either more or Taysom. I'm not dropping Shaheed with the Thomas injury.
Yeah.
Shaheed becomes interesting down the stretch a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. It's probably going to be more just with the quarterback. It's more or Taysom, and I could drop either one. I don't care.
Well, the surprising thing with the quarterback changes, well, I guess it shouldn't be. Njoku saw 14 targets in the last game.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense with the
Dorian
changing quarterback and the inability of that guy to throw anything coherently right now.
Also, Moore saw 7, and I think that matched Cooper. So, if I'm remembering correctly, I glanced at it earlier today.
Go with Reed. You want Reed. Of the 3 guys you listed, and you already have the Browns defense, you want Reed. Just do that. Don't overthink that. Herbert or Kyler in standard. I guess everything is standard unless he means 6-point passing touchdown. But
it's gonna be Murray.
Yeah, you
terrified of the Ravens.
You always pick Murray. I notice.
Well, it's not that. It's just Herbert versus the Ravens makes me nervous. He still doesn't have Palmer back. Guyton is back.
You know what? I'm not even doing the show properly. Yeah, I see where I have Justin Herbert ranked. I double check the rankings. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead and just play Murray. There's a reason that I have him down that low. I just went and looked at that matchup again, and I have the calculator here. It's like, oh, that's terrible. Okay. Yeah, with his lobster claw hand that he's trying to play with too. That's not going to be fun.
Ooh, going with the
Oh,
two.
Robinson and Stevenson.
Yes.
Don't get cute with Keaton Mitchell.
I get it because that's one area that the Chargers are kind of weak is a pass to the running back. There's not enough of a volume there for him. Just go with the safe plays here.
You saw what happens last week when you play a guy who gets 8 touches. If he doesn't score some sort of ridiculous touchdown, it's bad. It's really bad.
Could
8
happen
touches
though.
is not enough. Like
Chargers gave up that long run to Montgomery. Saved his day 2 weeks ago.
yeah, but he didn't get 8 touches. I'm not playing the guy. Well, not with my other two options being that. Yeah, it's called roster resolution. It's on the important nonsense website.
Deadline is Sunday though. Golly.
Yeah, okay. Well, you have until basically tomorrow to make that decision because I'll tell you right now, if you don't want us to evaluate trades for you and have enough time to get them in, I don't really see much point in giving me $5. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
busy Sunday morning. So
yeah. So we're not. That's a tight turn, Daniel. It's a tight turn. Our editor's on vacation as well.
I guess we probably need something.
We'll figure something out if we had to, but
I could probably do it if I need to. I just don't know what he does for the editing.
Well, it might be a little raw, but either way, we can work this out in the background. This is not what the other people.
Not what people came to watch.
Know what they want to hear about. Like, although I will say we are technically at a stagnant on fantasy questions at the moment. So let's see.
All right.
Do quarterback start of the week. Go ahead and just do that real quick.
Okay. Let's see here. It is going to be. Whoops. Why do I have the wrong one up? Okay. It's ugly. But
yeah,
I'm taking.
There's a lot of ugly. All the ugly ones are. There's a lot of ugly ones.
I'm going Gardner Minshew versus the Buccaneers.
I thought that might be where you were gonna
go. He just the weakness of the Bucs is still a secondary. The fact that Downs is going to be back, Pittman is healthy. I just trust him to do more. So the next best option, if you're wanting to be a little safer, is going to be Carr. Past 3 games has done very well. I am a little nervous with Thomas out, but he has been putting up over, I think it's the last 3 games, he's been over 20 fantasy points. So also a safe floor. It just how much you trust it, and it's also the Falcons. So I think you're fine either way, to be honest. Both are good streaming options. Can easily be top 10. I like the idea of Howell, but it's just so risky because
I am down on Howell this week. I don't want to play Howell. The rate at which he gets sacked versus the rate at which Dallas generates sacks does not line up for the idea that Howell will have a good game. For those who don't know what I mean, Sam Howell. No, we'll just call him Sal. Sam Howell, aka Sal, is the most sacked player in the NFL comfortably.
Yeah, so I think he was at 65 sacks on the year.
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. It's bad.
For those who don't know,
an older person would probably have broken something by now at the rate this guy gets hit. Like it's not a good way to keep your quarterback alive long term. So, especially against Dallas this week, no, I don't want to play Sam Howell. No, but my start of the week is Matthew Stafford because he draws Arizona. And
that's a safe play.
And boy, you like that. Boy, you do like that. That is some good stuff. I agree with the Gardner Minshew, just because Tampa Bay their secondary has not played well this year. And this week's a little skewed, but no, take a look at Stafford if you have the option, because it is kind of becoming anybody against Arizona at this point. Yes, their offense has been playing better with the return of Kyler, but that defense has not improved at all. Their defense is still terrible. So you can just go anybody at this point against who's playing the Cardinals, and you'll probably have a good day. And I don't even care that it's a division game. Like won't really matter that much. So the only question is, will it be Cooper Kupp or Puka who gets more love this week? Because Cooper feeling a little neglected Although I think he's still hurt. He's just trying to gut it out. That's what I feel like I'm
Puka
watching. when I
also
see him.
popped up on the injury report with, I think, a shoulder.
He's been dealing with problems all year. They just keep
Yeah.
clearing him to play. Oh, that's not the right thing. Yeah. Yeah, that
Sounds
really
alright.
screwed me in a game, by the way.
I almost
Really
got
annoyed
screwed.
me, Polo. I'm with you on that one. I lost the
I
game because
started
of
Dobbs
that.
over him and only won by like 2 points. Thank
Started
God Pacheco didn't score.
freaking Goff, and Goff did bad Goff. He did the bad Goff thing where he's like, "Oh, I don't know how to play football," and that's why I freaking hate Jared Goff. And he gets so much like he was so bad with the Rams, and people tried to make him a thing, and I'm like, he's not that good. And he goes to the Lions, and admittedly, he's gotten better throughout his career. He has improved. He's still consistency issues. Like he has really good games, and then he has these games where it's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like feels
It's
like I'm watching
cousins.
Derek Carr.
It's an ugly cousins.
It's
Kissing cousins? No.
There we go. There we go. I gave him several strikes earlier. I gave you multiple opportunities earlier, and you went back to the well, and that time you had to go to the penalty box. By the way, Polo, to actually provide an answer to your question, I would play Lawrence again this week over Howell because
Correct.
Lawrence has a much, much, much better matchup. It's a game. It's a division game, but it's a game they need to win.
Yeah.
And Houston's defense is bad still, but their offense is good enough to move the ball. So that game does have the potential to get a little bit out of hand. So it's just a question of what Jags team shows up.
And it's really the fact that if Lauren ends up rolling out like he did that last game, I think that actually benefits him and makes him a better quarterback. Adding that time where he's able, like they design plays for him to roll out of the pocket and be able to
Well, also
buy time
using
for
Calvin
plays to
Ridley
develop.
helps.
Yeah.
That also is helpful.
It helps Ridley specifically because
it helps the whole offense because that way they can't just dial in on Christian Kirk the whole time. And weirdly, and this is something I've said all year, weirdly, Zay Jones matters to that team.
Yep.
When he plays, they play. It doesn't even matter if he's involved. Just when he plays, the team functions better. And like I said all year, if you'd have said
they win games
3 years ago, if you would have said to me that Zay Jones was playing like meaningful football in the NFL and mattered, I'd have laughed at you. I'd have been like, Zay Jones doesn't matter. Like that's not a thing. Like 3 years later, yes, he does. He proved it last year and he proves it this year by him being absent over spurts of the season. And when they don't have him, they are a worse football team because of it. That is fascinating that actually bears out that way. But play Lawrence this week and hold your nose, Polo, because I'm probably doing the same thing, buddy. I hate to tell you.
Well, I'll go to the other side. Dobbs or Lawrence. Because those are the two that I'm now rostering.
Still Lawrence. Largely because Dobbs it's a slightly better matchup with Chicago. If you care about primetime narrative, I don't. But if you care about that, it's technically a better matchup because he gets Monday Night Football and it's the Bears. But he's had some good games since he's gotten there. Still not really enough of a sample size for me to like crown him on like body of work.
My tipping point will be if Justin Jefferson's playing. Because
that's not a bad tipping point. Because I have it ranked right now like he's not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that, so I have to rank it that way. I think we could probably do better than that, Daniel. I have so many meaner jokes than that. That was it. I can't. I want to do them all, but I can't do the jokes here. All right, we'll do a really fun question here. Nico versus. Oh, I see how you wrote that. Yeah, Nico versus Addison.
Again, depends on if Justin Jefferson's playing.
I think I'm probably playing Nico at this point.
I'm probably playing Nico, but I think that it really hurts Addison if Jefferson plays.
I have Addison at 34, and I have Nico at like 23. So yeah, it's not really that close. So I would probably just roll out with Nico. Still waiting to see what the pecking order is, obviously, if Jefferson were to play. Might be
Oh,
bad.
lovely. Gibson and game time decision. Shocker.
Yeah, I got that earlier today. That's been going around for a while. A lot of crap. More running back injuries because that's what the league needs. Pile them on.
I love it
Really
because
testing that theory that running back doesn't matter.
Brian Robinson
Really testing that theory in
so
real
good with
time.
it.
It's gonna matter if they're all hurt. Like it'll eventually matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, pick 2. What's that stupid stat that Christian McCaffrey is the RB1 in PPR? Okay, Josh Jacobs is the RB4 in PPR. How many points ahead of Josh Jacobs is Christian McCaffrey from 1 to 4? Go ahead. You know?
That's what I'm trying to see.
Don't look.
I don't know. I'm going to guess like 20.
80.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's how many injuries have happened.
No.
That's what it was last week.
Yeah. Okay, I have the total at 151 for Jacobs and 241 for McCaffrey for fantasy points PPR.
You
But
said 240 minus 151?
yeah, so 90.
And I said 80.
Yeah.
So it's worse. So you're making my argument better. Because my argument is that's how you would justify how many injuries are in the league. Josh Jacobs is the RB4 by virtue of the fact that he's played every game. Has Josh Jacobs struggled all year? Especially prior to the last 2 games when they fired that guy.
Yeah,
it's been documented. Everyone's been mad about it.
I know, but that's because people they're just looking at the score and not how he's actually playing. I mean, he's been fairly consistent. Overall, he's like, I mean, he's averaging almost double digit. He is
That was an insane statement because people are just looking at the score. What are they going to look at? That's exactly what they're going to look at. Like he's had touches, but the touches were ineffective. But whether it's his fault or not is not the point of what I was saying. The point is it's been documented that he was struggling and not putting up what you were hoping or what he was on the pace he was on last year. That's the argument. And the division bell in that is that the RB1 is McCaffrey, who is now 90 full points ahead of him in 4th or maybe 5th now, whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's the point. There should be, Jason, the argument what I'm saying, trying to lead you to is there should be like 5 guys in between 1 and 4, if that's the case. There should be many people in that, and there's none there. Because running back has been a tire fire this year where everyone has been hurt. That's the point. It's well documented that this is like one of the worst RB. And remember at the beginning of the year when everybody was like, you can just skip running back and take all these awesome wide receivers. Look at that. How's that going? How's that going now? It's could be going good if you pick the wrong running back, but still, like it's bad, dog. It's bad. There should be like several people between him and Josh Jacobs, and there's none there because they're all hurt.
Yeah,
so
you have
this
Mostert, Etienne, and Robinson between McCaffrey and Jacobs.
Yeah, it's not enough people. Should be many, many more people.
White's flirting with it. White's almost ahead of him.
Yeah, there should be many more people than that. Like that's the problem, is that this year has been a horrible nightmare. The horrible running back injury nightmare that I wish I could wake up from.
And it might get worse because he still hasn't been on bye.
But that's what I mean. Like, and then you got Ken Walker who's now down. Like, it just pile them on, throw more bodies on. Aaron Jones again, sure, why not? Like, just come on back in the bus. Like Antonio Gibson, like that even mattered. Like, it's bad, man. It's really bad. It's been bad all year. There should be a lot more guys in that pecking order. It's been brutal. And McCaffrey, the one that everybody worries about being injury prone, is the one that's healthy. Like, it's like, okay.
On that same note, though, wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 8 is separated by. Well, I said we went through 90, so that'd be
90.
So wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 12 is 90.
Yeah. So there should be at least, like, that's my point, like 6 more guys, dude. Because there's less running backs, but still, there should be like 6 or 7 people. in between. That's the level of bad. That's what I'm trying to get people to wrap their head around. Like, Josh Jacobs is not having a good year. It's not necessarily his fault, but he's not having a good year. He's 4 because the whole position is a train wreck. That's the problem. Running back is like operating like tight end, where it's like there's one guy and then nothing matters. Like it's this stupid year of 2023 that it's the year of running back injuries because I don't know. Like it's like the universe is trying to get payback on the NFL for trying to convince running backs that they don't matter and should take pay cuts. So they'll just hurt them all, and we'll see what the league is like without them. Like it's some weird Faustian bargain that Austin Eckler made with Baal. I've gone off the rails.
Well, I mean, the whole contract dispute in the offseason is leading to this, right?
Yeah. I've gone far off the rails in there, but I see from the chat, people are understanding what I'm saying. Like there's like this. No. What do you want? Like, I trust the fact that they're going to give him 16 carries. That's what they like to do. What are they going to do? Is he going to do anything with it? I don't know. You can't know with the Raiders. There's no knowing that.
Yikes. Yeah. On that same note, it's between quarterback 1 and quarterback 15. The point differential.
You're still doing this?
Yes.
Answer the question.
He's fine. There should be more people, yeah.
No. Daniel's question.
Oh, no. Well, I guess it depends on your other options. I'm probably playing... You had Nico and... I'd play either one of them over him. Nico or... Not Warren. Who the heck was his other wide receiver that he said earlier? It's like, it's close enough. Addison. Yeah, play both of them over him.
Oh, boy. Ooh, boy. I don't know if I would go all the way down to Addison. I don't know about that. That's probably the line. Like, I don't know about
if
that.
If JJ's out.
Yeah. Even still. I don't know about that. Feel like Jacobs is going to get... Feel like you're very at risk of getting to 7 either way. Like, sounds about right. You're very much at risk for getting a 7 on either end of that. Ridiculous. Feels like it's about the line. Feel like I might go with Jacobs just on the volume if I'm going to get a 7. I'll take my 7 with more touches, please. Like that's
more potential of it being an upside.
Well, if he scores, that's like equal money right there. All right. Pick 2, flex PPR.
Going to be Williams and Shaheed.
How high do you have Shaheed ranked? Now that you're back in your rankings.
Good question.
It's going to be some insane number. It's going to be like 22. Might be higher.
Dun, dun, dun,
he's having to scroll, so that is interesting. I might be wrong.
No, I have him at, I had to put in control. I could control deficit. I have him at 20.
Okay, I know who I'm working with. I know who I'm. That's insane. Okay, that's way too high. Even with Michael Thomas being hurt, I can't. I'm not.
If he sees 8, I have him. That's just it. I have him with 8 receptions.
How many targets are you expecting Rashid Shaheed to get?
10.
Okay.
They have to go somewhere and car like Shaheed. So give him more volume.
What is she? We haven't seen what they're going to do with Shaheed's job. Like, we don't know. We're thinking. We're thinking that he's going to end up taking over the extra Michael Thomas volume. We don't know that. So you're just not going to hedge. You're just not going to hedge at all. You're just going to go full, just stick your dick in it, huh? That's what we're doing. That's it. Just, all right. Don't know. You don't know if that's like, that could be anything. All right. All right, dog. That's crazy train. I'm gonna play Montgomery and Kyron Williams, and if for some reason Kyron Williams doesn't play, I'd play Deontay. Really hoping Kyron Williams plays. Really hoping Kyron Williams plays there.
If they've already cut Henderson, like that's the only
he's already back at practice. It's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Herbert versus the Ravens or Fields versus the Vikings. I would rather play Fields.
Yeah, it's definitely Fields. Sorry. For some reason, I was thinking Khalil. I'm like, the Bears aren't playing the Ravens. The Chargers are playing. Stupid brain.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Fields. Yeah.
The rushing, and even if you just threw it.
Oh no, don't. I don't want to play Herbert against the Ravens. I don't want to play Herbert against the Ravens.
I also wouldn't
really
call
want
him
to avoid that if I
red
can
hot.
avoid that. Like, cannot stress you. I don't even have Herbert in the top 12 this week. Okay, like I no. That feels like that O line is gonna have nothing for that pass rush, and Herbert's playing with a hurt hand already. I don't want that.
And no Palmer, potentially no Guyton, and with well, Everett did show back up at practice. There's a plus there.
Oh sure, yeah, that didn't help.
But Ford popped up.
He's been all right.
Serviceable.
Ingram, it doesn't really help the. Well, it should have if you handcuffed it properly, but it doesn't really help the people who had Shaw in a lot of cases. Ingram, Laporta, or Taysom. I think I've got it as it's one of the first two. Laporta. I knew I had to look because I have Laporta at 6 and Evan Ingram at 7.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Ingram here.
I'd be fine playing Ingram. It's one spot.
Yeah,
that's fine. Like, I could easily see it. And then yeah, Taysom's the odd man out. Ingram would be fine.
Not wrong.
I know. It is funny. It's genuinely funny. Like in the most ass way possible. Feel bad too for people like Bijan. Bijan's been out there all year. He can't do nothing.
It's not his fault though.
Tell me more about how Arthur Smith is such a good football coach. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, use any of those other options. use Montgomery over him. Use Kyron over him.
Look, Daniel, there was a lot of effing last week. Okay, I got effed in a league real hard. Like, so trust me, I know. Like, I know there was a lot of it. Ken Walker murdered a ton of people. Aaron Jones murdered a ton of people. There was a lot of murdering. Mark Andrews, Joe Burrow, a lot of murdering last week. Last week was bad. It was a really bad week. And if your team survived that, you a playoff team, dog. Because if there's a lot of teams that didn't make that, and they're done now. Like, that's the end of that. Like, moving on. Yeah, it's ugly. Achan. They're still saying, and now they're saying he's going to play again this week, and I'm like, who's starting that? I'm not starting that. You're out of your mind.
Not happening.
You're going to have to get through an entire game, sir, and prove to me that you're back. Because no, not after the last one. Pull the carpet out from under me. Why don't you? That's also why I was on Thursday. I was very much in the camp of don't want to play this. I don't trust it. I don't trust the Dolphins. I'd rather play something else that I feel good about, like that I know what I'm getting. So yeah, last week was bad. Lots of really bad injuries, lots of garbage. It occurs to me, Jason, that we did start of the week. We did not do sit of the week.
Oh,
is it just Justin Herbert? And we're both going to agree, and then we're going to move on because that's going to be faster.
No, Justin Herbert.
Oh, he doesn't qualify.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, welcome to that world, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually going to go Patrick Mahomes.
Interesting, even with a good matchup.
Great matchup. My thing is, I think they're going to feed Pacheco. He worked so hard last week, couldn't get a touchdown, thankfully. And I think they reward him this week because of it. Because he really, against that O-line, he put up some solid numbers. I was nervous.
Oh, I'm hoping you're wrong.
Or that D-line, sorry.
That game.
He went up against that Eagles front seven and still was putting up solid yards. I'm like, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. I'm going to lose this.
That game was such a mess. Really ugly game. Contrary to what we were talking about a moment ago, my sit is actually Justin Fields. The matchup is not that good. Fields himself also not that good, and Matt Eberflus not that good. A lot of factors working negatively here. Like a lot of factors. Is it bad that you look worse than Bagent? Is it bad that when you come back you look worse than Bagent? Because that's kind of what happened, and it's like I don't like that. You got to be able to outplay the guy who was a D2 starter. Like you got to be better than that. Like, yeah. So no, I really have no confidence in in Fields on the road in a division game that the Vikings are uniquely incentivized to win, more so than just they're yearly trying to humiliate the Bears. They need that game to try to go to the playoffs. I feel like they're going to be highly motivated, and I'm not convinced Fields is going to be able to deal with it. The difference is, to just what we were talking about before, I would still play Fields over Herbert. I just don't have Fields in the top 12. Well, I do have him in the top 12, but I'm not recommending starting him if I can avoid it.
I'm like, the thing that really saves Fields is he threw for, I think, 150 yards, but he also rushed for 100 yards.
That's always what saves Fields, is that he's he's on the very short list. Yeah, he's on the very short list of Konami code quarterback. He might get outplayed by Dobbs, and if that was to happen, Chicago needs to go take a very long hot bath with itself and really think about what they want to do with these 2 early picks that they're going to have. You really need to take a walk, go try and find your missing lawn equipment, whatever you got to do. You got to take it in though. You got to process what you're about to do here, because I'd be thinking about that. No. Yeah.
Nope.
They're saying he's playing. I would not be playing for me. They keep saying he's going to play. He was at practice, and I'm like, nope. Don't care.
Fool me once.
Not care. Yep. Do not care. You could say whatever you want about him being at practice. It makes no difference to me. He could be riding a unicycle, doing backflips. I don't care. There could be video evidence filmed by the Pope. That would actually make me believe it less. I don't know why I went with the Pope, because it just doesn't sound credible. It just doesn't sound credible. It's not a credible lie. Montgomery, and then it gets interesting.
Nope. Pierce is back at practice.
I don't care about that.
I do.
What I care about more than that is Kyren Williams actually getting medically cleared. It's Kyren because of the Arizona matchup. What am I saying? We just got done talking about the Arizona matchup. It's Kyren versus the Arizona matchup. Arizona couldn't stop anybody. Couldn't stop this year's Alabama team. Wouldn't matter.
They looked so good at the beginning of the year, and it's just been like their defense.
Well, it's like the Saints. It's like the Saints. There's 2 Saints teams. There's the borderline playoff Saints team that I've seen play with the good defense, and then there's one of the worst football teams currently in operation, Saints team, that can't even snap the ball. And you don't know what Saints team is showing up to the stadium. It's fascinating to watch it, because they show up some weeks, and I'm like, wow, that was professional football right there. That looked good. Other weeks,
Nope.
Can't do nothing. Can't even snap the ball. This is why I can't put Rashid Shaheed higher. I love Rashid Shaheed. I would love for him to have a bigger role in that offense. I have him in a dynasty league. I would love to start him. That sounds great. In that dynasty league, I'm 9-2, and I have T. Higgins, and I'd love a replacement for that. Man, that sounds great for my stretch run. No, but I can't. I've got to make a weird choice between Cortland Sutton and Josh Downs.
Downs, baby.
Yeah, I don't want to.
They're going to be playing.
It would mean I'm playing Michael Pittman and Josh Downs.
Oh, well, that's your issue. You should be playing.
There's nothing you can do about that. I had Michael Pittman. I drafted Downs because he fell to me the last pick of the 2nd round. What, am I going to not take him? You're just going to find $20 on the sidewalk and you're just going to keep walking? Okay. I see how we're operating tonight. We're just leaving crap for other people to be nice. You crazy? Jason's out of his mind, and I'm for me, that's not a far walk. Anyway, do running back start of the week. Let's do that real quick.
All right. Let's see what the Oh, it's easy. Jaylen Warren.
Oh,
let's go, baby.
He got moved up into the top 24.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. He's 23.
Am I looking at the wrong? Yes, that's why. It's like easy list. What are you talking about?
Well, while Jason figures out his life, I'm going to go ahead and pounce on Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet has not a very good matchup, but not as bad of a matchup as you would think against the 49ers in a division game, but he's going to get all the work because Ken Walker with his oblique injury is not playing in that game, and I don't care what they say. Even if he was medically cleared, there's no way they're going to give him the bulk of the workload. So don't buy into that stupid smokescreen if they try it. That man is genuinely properly hurt and should take the week off because the Seahawks, despite the fact that they're a little questionable in certain areas, are looking like a playoff team. So I think they're going to let Zach Charbonnet have his first NFL start this week. And if he gets all the work, I think you're looking at roughly 12 fantasy points. Maybe you get lucky and he scores. Maybe you can get to 14, something like that. And what's messed up about running back, as I was mentioning with all the injuries, is that puts you well inside the top 24 running backs if you could do that. And I think that's the workload you should be expecting. So Zach Charbonnet, wheels up. It's time.
Yeah. So this actually makes it easier for me because I'm going Brian Robinson.
Sure.
Dude, seeing
you want the other cherry pick? We both took the cherry pick. Nobody went Gus Edwards.
I was thinking Dylan, actually.
Nobody went, oh, you're the only one who'd do that. I don't care if he gets all the work. He's just bad. Hasn't done anything all year. Had every opportunity. Gus Edwards is at least something to talk about with the ridiculous touchdown, the LeGarrette Blunt season
Every
he's
week.
on. Yeah, his LeGarrette Blunt season that he's working on over there. He's almost halfway there. Like he's getting there.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Actually,
go ahead.
You want me to go
Robinson.
real deep? Let's see if he's on here first.
You could do Brian Robinson. I'm not here to tell you what to do.
Samaje Perine.
Oh, that's actually interesting. Okay, go ahead. Make the argument for Samaje Perine.
Okay, again, the situation is great. I know they're playing the Browns, means they're going to struggle to run it between the tackles. Samaje last week actually dominated when it came to the catches and has big playability. So if he's seeing the 5 or 6 targets that he saw last week, I'm completely fine firing him up in PPR.
The only reason he gets those targets is when they're going hurry up at the end of the game or at the end of the half, though. That's the question. And so it just depends on.
But they're going to have to. I mean, they're going to have to try and win.
Working.
And Judy is not the answer. Like Perine.
Cortland Sutton's going to get paid either by Denver or by somebody else after this year. I can tell you that right now. Somebody is going to pay that man probably way too much money. Like, it's just going to happen. Like he's played too well.
Point, I want somebody else to catch the damn ball.
No, I kind of need Cortland Sutton to keep catching touchdowns for very selfish reasons that are selfish. I kind of need him to do that. That really helps.
You could do that on the Chargers? What are you talking about?
No, I suppose that's fine. He could, theoretically.
It's not going to be Allen. Allen's usually the one who struggles to score.
Well, y'all struggle to score now. The question. Sorry.
What real deep for you? Sorry.
I got thrown off.
Hey, Dan.
Daniel Ward walked in. What's up, Dan? No, so Samaje Perine is a very deep.
Going deep cut. You like
that is a deep cut, past deep cuts. I understand your point because it's the Cleveland game. So the theory being that there's going to need to be a lot more up tempo and a lot more passing. That is a super deep cut. The Brian Robinson one is easy if you just want to do it, or I could do it, or we could both do it. It's a bad matchup, but he's going to get the volume there. Okay.
Not just the volume, the pass catching.
All of it, all the volume,
that
every part of it. We saw it last week when he's out there by himself. When he's out there by himself, it's hard for him to not get 20 fantasy points in PPR. So it's like that. That's why I'm like, I don't understand the ranking. I feel like he should be higher, but I get why he's low because of the matchup. People are scared. They're afraid that they're going to get behind, but it's like, but what's your other option at this point? Because you got no other running backs. So I don't know.
Well, the fact that Ford, Charbonnet, Singletary, Kyron that's more reasonable. Javonte though shouldn't be in front of him. He's not catching passes. James Conner definitely not catching passes, even in a good matchup. Like if he's seeing the 6+ targets, like why is he so low compared to those?
If he sees them, it's been a very limited sample so far. It's been less than 2 weeks with that, so I know why people are slow to adjust.
I know, but if on that,
I think they're also waiting for Gibson to officially get ruled out, and then they might move him up. That might actually happen too. Although that's seeming like that's likely going to happen. By the way, I think it is likely going to go that direction. Waddle tank downs.
Yep, it's Dell.
Yeah, I'd probably play Dell.
Have him at my wide receiver 8.
Largely because I've got him at 12. Largely because it's Jacksonville. That game I think is going to go nuclear bomb. And Waddle is playing a very crappy matchup against the Jets.
But
do
that
not
actually
like.
should benefit him because they're going to focus on.
They should bracket Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Will they successfully be able to bracket Tyreek Hill? I don't know, but
yeah, they normally don't. But I dropped Pierce for Singletary.
No, I think you got the right side of that.
That's fine. I mean, I don't want either of them if they're both playing.
I think you got the right side of that. I don't want Pierce. Never liked Pierce coming into the league. Top Golf League. I want to get rid of Goff. I mean, you better move quick.
Yeah.
Lamar and Dak. I have Adams, CD, DK. Send him Goff and DK Adams. Wait. Oh,
Yeah.
you wrote DK.
Metcalf.
Oh, or. Okay.
Yeah. So the last three are DK, comma, Adams, comma, or I guess or.
Yeah. I figured that out. I got it. It took a second, but
if you can do Goff and Adams, I'm fine doing that.
This is probably too much information. I kind of needed less than this, weirdly. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do,
I'm okay with anybody but giving up more at this point. Because DK is so hit or miss, especially with what's really been helping him is Lockett's struggling with injury.
Dak or Lamar? I'd rather nail down Dak or Lamar first.
Dak.
Like that's.
I prefer his schedule much more. It's a lot better for him compared to Jackson.
Longer term schedule.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to just set it and forget it.
I'm assuming if you're even doing this, that you're probably projected to go to the playoffs. So, or you're darn close.
Yeah, you might actually have to give up. Let's see, DK and Adams.
Yeah, I'm going.
And I'm okay with that.
I don't think I would do that. That's going to leave you too thin. It's going to leave you too thin.
If it's too,
yeah, I would also go with Dak, largely because I have a feeling that might actually be cheaper slightly, and because people love Lamar, people love Lamar, and it's much harder to pry Lamar away from people than it is Dak. I'd say I'd want to do Goff. I'd want to do Goff and DJ Moore for Dak, I believe is what I would do if we were going to try to do Dak, because it's just Adams and DK. That it's not great. None of it's great, but those two are the ones that I feel like it's fixable. The Bears is a freaking train wreck, and
still volume though, man. I like DJ's volume so much more.
It's not that much more volume. It's not.
My thing is with DK is just the fact that dude is not catching enough passes, and I know it's not his fault, but he's getting targeted 10 plus times and not catching half of them, and it's pissing me off.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather ship that off to somebody else.
That's your own bias. Like the one I wouldn't do is Adams, because I think that's like a gross overpayment for one quarterback for Dak. The distance in quarterback rankings from Goff to Dak, figure out what that number is, and then what wide receiver fits that bill. You could literally do that math yourself. Like, just pull up total points scored, and you could literally math it. And yes, you're going to have to pay because it's Dak Prescott, but you could literally figure this out. So it's which of the three wide receivers do you want the least? And then you staple that to Goff, and you go in there. That's what you do. If you're asking me whether or not it's a good idea, no, I could understand doing that. You don't need all of the receivers you have. If I was going to do something like this, I question why my priority would be upgrading quarterback and what my running back situation is.
We could probably pull that back up if you want me to.
Probably. It's going to take too long. It's going
for you. No, I don't get enough conversation with people, so it should be relatively high on my list. There he is. Oh yeah, we did. Was he the last one?
We did 3 in one video, so I don't think you're just going to be able to scrub through and find this. Also, he's here. He could probably tell you.
That's fair. He probably could, but. Oh yeah, his car is actually a very good backup. He's
He's got Connor, Barkley, and Ford. So okay, it's like, that's fine, I guess. It'll survive. You'll live. Wide receivers are decent enough. It's just you could stand to lose one of the wide receivers at this point. It would be fine. It's just deciding which one you want to go with. And for me, I would go with DJ Moore. He's the one with the worst situation because he's got to deal with Fields and Eberflus and people not calling plays correctly. And sure, he has the occasional big game, but then he also goes through a giant desert. So let's see. I can answer this question a different way. And then we can put it to bed. It's basically, do I have DK Metcalf over the fact that I'm continuing to have to scroll is bad.
It's probably due to the injury.
And... There he is. There he is. Hang on. I found it. I see what I'm doing here. I have them all very close. I have all of them like right in the same range. So I've taken a second to look at playoff rankings. None of them have great playoff schedules, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I'd be fine doing any of them, Daniel, honestly. Just pick the one you like the least and staple it to it. I've already given you my opinion. If it was me, I would probably do DJ Moore. That's also the one that I think is probably the most likely to get accepted because most people are aware of the idea that DK's having a down year and Adams has also had some weird struggles. I could understand from your perspective if like a better gauge might be you were on the team. Who am I the most frustrated with? Who's the guy that I play? Because honestly, of the three of them, I don't care. I wouldn't care. I have them all ranked so close together when you actually write it down on paper that it's like, it's questionable. And this, folks, is why we started charging for trade questions.
Yeah, we think too much.
Charging you extra. Oh, Daniel, I will. Okay, how do I mute people in here? Go ahead, Daniel. Get your questions. We'll do this. Waddle.
Yep.
Waddle. Yeah.
Ooh. That's going to be JJ.
Oh, wait. Oh, I see your question. Okay. Ooh. God, I'd really like to answer this question on Sunday. It's freaking Wednesday, man. I don't know enough. Like that's why we stopped doing this on Wednesday. Stupid Thanksgiving.
One of the least favorite holidays.
I actually like Thanksgiving fine. I'm just being combative.
Well, I guess I'll wait till another little.
I'm gonna play Waddle. Yeesh. playing JJ in his first game back with Dobbs as quarterback. Never played him before. I don't know. I'd probably just play Waddle at that point. Already did that.
Brian.
I mean, yeah, that's the one I have probably penciled in. Let's see. Yeah. Probably play Kyron and Brian.
Yep, those would be my two, especially in PPR.
I want to play Connor, but it's really annoying.
He's not getting enough targets.
Well, they're not throwing it to the running back. Is even the problem.
Correct.
It's not even him. It's any running back. Pick one. These are the same players. You keep having the same players.
Well, maybe it's still standard. It's still going to be Robinson.
Standard? Yeah. Oh God, I hate it.
Because I have him going over.
In standard, I'd probably play Kyron because it's who's most likely to score a touchdown. And Brian Robinson could score a touchdown, but he could get shut out just as easily. Connor and Ford, no. I would play Kyron, I think, and I don't feel great about it.
Here we go. It's 5. Let's do this. So it does.
I don't even know where it went. It's gone forever. It's gone forever, Daniel. We'll do it on Sunday. No, we can't. Some of those are Seahawks and Cowboys.
Woof. Okay, it's going to be Dell and Lamb.
Yeah. Those are their wide receivers for sure. He needs 2 running backs and a flex then.
2 running backs. DK's probably my flex, and I don't know whose running backs are. Connor. I think it's Barkley, Connor, and Ford. Yeah. So
he needs 2 running backs. It's Barkley probably Connor and Ford because I don't think Barkley's playing. He might play. We'll see. If Barkley plays, I'd play Barkley.
And
what was my other choice?
Connor and Ford.
Ford, because it's the crappy Denver run defense. So
they've not been that bad.
They're crappy. It's crappy. It's legitimately crappy. It was bottom 5 in the NFL. I don't know if it still is in the last couple of weeks, but it's been really crappy. Okay, so he needs so then the flex is either Adams or DK or more.
Yeah, and I think I said it's close. I think I'm going to go yeah, I still think I'm going to go DK. It's close with more for me between those two this week. I just wish there was more volume for more. I just don't see them passing it enough for him to be viable.
Part of me, honestly, what's weird is part of me actually really would consider playing Adams this week because let me pull that back up. I had a thing on this. I know he got all his production last week on like one play, but bear with me. Yeah, it's because they're playing like Kansas City, and I know Kansas City has been defense has been better recently.
Yep.
But the issue is it's like they're probably not going to be able to body up and run the ball. I don't know that they're going to be able to completely take Adams out of the game. It only takes one. So it's
they pretty much completely erased AJ Brown last week.
Nah. Yeah.
That's which is why I have Myers higher than Brown this week. Or Adams.
Beat them. If I was afraid of that, then I would just play DJ Moore. I don't really want to play DK this week. DK this week, I have a little bit lower because he's nursing an injury and they're playing the 49ers. And the reason the 49ers have been getting beat is not because their secondary sucks. It's because they can't stop anybody from running the ball down their throat. Let me see here. I can tell, Daniel. I can tell.
Had a good play, and it seems to be working for you.
It's overall, yeah. Yeah. Okay. We did start of the week for running back. Yeah.
Yes.
Who was sit of the week then? I don't think we did that.
Oh, wrong one. I think he's still on here. Dang it. They finally caught up to it. Sorry, I was really hoping James Cook would be up there. He's not. Makes me sad. Well, I'm going to go James Conner. I can't, man. I'm tired of him not seeing targets. He's getting it's just he needs to go over 16 touches, and it's flirting with that line. And until he starts seeing more touches or getting that usage, I'm not willing to throw him out there.
There are several on here this week to be aware of. One of them is that you probably can't sit him, but I would not be holding my breath, is Jonathan Taylor. The Bucks the the Bucks secondary has been bad. Their run defense has been good. So
Between the tackles.
Yeah. So we
If
want
he gets
to
the dumps off, it's going to get some.
if he catches some jump offs, that might help him. But that's why I'm saying you probably are going to have to start him because you probably don't have better options. But I would be a little nervous about Taylor this week. I'm not really expecting a big game. And then the other one that's probably a little more actionable, I would try to fade Mixon if I could in that game. I know they're going to give him work.
Sure, you'd go Javonte.
Javonte is an interesting fade candidate as well. So is Raheem Mostert, by the way. Bad matchup, injured, and they keep Achane keeps practicing, and they keep insisting that he's going to go out there. But no, the one that scares me is Mixon. The one thing you're going to have to hang your hat on with Mixon is the volume, because with Browning, I assume they're going to try to run the ball. The problem is that Pittsburgh has a really good run defense, and they also know that the Bengals are going to try to run the ball and take the ball out of Jake Browning's hands. They're going to be ready for this. So Mixon scares me because it's like you might have no better option. I still have him at like 17, but man, would he be higher if he had a different game? Like with the volume he's about to get, if he had a different game script, you know what I mean? Or like just different matchup, I would feel a lot better about this. Don't feel good about it. All right, real quick, and then we'll do wide receiver. PPR, Dell, Connor, Pittman. Yeah, just play Dell. First choice Dell, second choice Pittman.
Don't make it any harder than it has to be.
Those are my choices. Yeah. I have Pittman pretty high this week, though. Not as high as Dell. I have Dell at like 12. Oh, that's the wrong spreadsheet. Hold on. This is the right spreadsheet. Yeah. I have Dell at 12 because, like I said, I've said it a couple times. That game has all the potential in the world to go soup sandwich. And then I have Pittman like right behind it. Pittman has a great matchup.
Really, Pittman and Downs are set moving forward. They don't have a bad matchup for the rest of the season, really.
I know. That's why it's helpful that like they're Pittman especially should draw like they're going to try and put the one coverage from Tampa Bay on him. That has not gone well for Tampa Bay all year. So I'm like, okay, great. Like that sounds great. The question I have about Downs is the last time we saw him in week 10, he was limping around pretty bad out there, and then they took him out of the game. So you got to hope that the week off like really helped because he's not on the injury report, but that's the one thing that's kind of like I don't know how much I don't really trust the Colts for a lot of reasons. Like how Jim Irsay is suing Stephen A. Smith. Google it. I didn't make that up. That's actually not a troll. That's a real thing. If you haven't seen that, it's hilarious. I believe Stephen A. Smith on television called Jim Irsay like a whiny entitled baby or something. And Jim Irsay's response was to sue him. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what a whiny entitled baby would do. Yeah, good job, buddy. Like, oh man. It's like my favorite news story of the day. Got a chuckle out of it.
Dell.
That's just who's more likely to score a touchdown.
And it's still Dell.
It's even money. Just play Dell. It's even money. It's the same thing. If you can't tell, Daniel, I really hate standard. I got off the standard train in like 2006, bro. Like standard is not even standard anymore. That's why we started calling it no point. Because you get it. Do you get the joke? Do you get it? Thanks, Steve, for that one. That's his thing that he likes. Alrighty. Wide receiver, start of the week. Who do you got?
Gotta move over. Into the start, and it is.
I was gonna say Josh Downs. It's like this huge cop out.
No, I you know who it is.
I haven't been paying.
Rashid Shaheed, baby.
It's true. It would kind of have to be since you have Rashid Shaheed in the top
Come
20.
on, son.
It would kind of have to be, I suppose. All right, go nuts.
Right?
Knock
They're on
yourself
the
out.
Falcons.
What's the?
They're-
It is the Falcons. I have
Let's
to concede
go.
that. I do have
I
to
don't
concede
even.
that. I do have to concede that the Falcons defense sucks.
Thomas
I'm
is
sorry.
out. The volume
can't-
should be there. If he sees anything over 6 targets, it's money.
You
Like,
have slightly forced me into a bad position, which would be defending the Falcons defense that I am on record many times this year for saying how much they suck. So I really can't fight you on that. You have kind of slowly, you've made my argument a little more of an uphill battle if I was going to go into that.
Yeah, honestly, both of them are great plays. I like Shaheed and Olave. Both should be able to tear this up very easily without having any issues. I have them both. Well, that's not true. I have Shaheed going over 100 yards, and I have Olave at 89. So both saying over 10 targets.
For me, it's Jaden Reed. And you can just make a super cut of all my Jaden Reed takes from Tuesday and Thursday throughout the year. I won't bother going through it all. It's too long at this point. He's the perfect player to be the Packers flanker for what they want to do. And they're finally realizing that, and they're giving him the ball. And yes, he's not going to score an end around touchdown every week, but he has that ability, which is nice.
Yeah, and if Michael Wilson's back, Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
Because they did so great with having him out wide, and then they moved him over and stuck him in the slot, and Greg Dortch did just fine.
Yeah.
I was super annoyed. You have one great play, he breaks a 40-yard touchdown, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, this is going to be a great game. Nope. Just leave him alone after that.
I was cheering on the Reed. I hate the Packers, as you know, and I was cheering on the Reed end around touchdown. I'm like, yeah, make me right. Give him the ball. Christian Watson, who? Don't need him. Not relevant.
However, Dobbs, another good
play.
One. Dude is continuing to find the end zone. It seems to be his go-to.
That touchdown he threw at the start of the game is one of the luckiest occurrences I have ever seen in my entire life. He should have gone to the nearest 7-Eleven at halftime and bought the entire wheel of scratch-off tickets because he wouldn't need to play football anymore. I've never seen anything quite like it. He was dead to rights, should have been hurled out of bounds like a rag doll, and somehow isn't even tackled and just over here's a touchdown. That's all it took. I'm like, this is the most, because the defense stopped because they were sure that he was sacked out of bounds, and no, I most ran horrible. How does one get forced to play board games? That feels like a weird Saw movie.
Wow.
I want to play.
On that same note, though, I saw that they are making board games that you can fit into books, and so the titles are on the side of, and it's actually the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was so cool. Just random thought. Random plug there.
So who's your sit of the week then?
Wide receiver. Had to go back to it. It's forgot what we were talking about. Yeah. It's more just because I can't do it, man. I'm tired. I don't know why people continue to do it. It's Marquise Brown.
Oh, yeah. That's not a bad choice. Super frustrating situation with that.
There's not enough volume. It's really hurting him there. It's just, I don't understand how people continue to rank him so high when he isn't even getting close to the 10 fantasy points, which is ridiculous because he has huge plays, and yet he's still not breaking that mark. It's getting 3 for 60, which is close, but not good enough. I can't bring myself to do it. I'd much rather go with a volume play, and that includes people on his own team. If Michael Wilson's back, Rondale Moore, or Michael Wilson, or if still out, Greg Dortch. All of them are better options at this point. All of them are scoring. Brown is not doing anything. And I mean, if I were the Rams, I would just leave him wide open, see if he can hit him. Just hoping for the best at this point. Do something.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. The one that I have, honestly, is we talked about Deontay briefly, and this really kind of just
Oh,
applies to
close.
the Steelers, like wide receivers. But Deontay, I would really prefer not to. And Pickens, that doesn't really qualify for this conversation, but I just don't know what the new structure is, and they've already had issues passing the ball. If you want to play Warren, wow, I don't know why my voice cracked. Apparently, I have a secret crush on Warren.
I mean, you
The
do, but that's okay.
it's not a secret. It's not a secret. Hasn't been a secret all year, baby. Go back to the 32 teams in 32 days, man. It was all right there. That's why I have so many shares of Warren. That's why I got them all. I got like every team. It's I'm fine playing Warren. I have no issue with this because I feel like I know what that is, and frankly, I know it's a division game, but backup quarterback should be winning this game. Bengals defense hasn't been great all year. I think Warren will be fine. I think Harris will do something reminiscent of what he's been doing, which will
Potentially score.
maybe score. Yeah, should be fine. I'm expecting the Steelers to be winning this game for a lot of the time. So it kind of all feeds into that whole thought process. And statistically, this is what should happen based on previous games that are set up in this manner with backup quarterbacks and whatnot. So it makes sense. I would just prefer to not play the Steelers wide receivers this week. Just don't want to. Don't know what the new pecking order is with the new offensive coordinator. I acknowledge they're probably going to be throwing it to somebody.
It has, but
But-
the thing is, it has to be like that's. I think part of the reason that Canada got fired. Feature Johnson. Like, stop messing around. Give it to Johnson.
I don't know.
He-
Like, is that what it's going to be? Because if I
Between
knew
the
that, then
20s,
I
it
would
should
tell you to
be.
play Johnson.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Between the 20s, it should be. And then when you get deeper, take a shot with.
I wish I knew what Mike Tomlin was thinking, dog, but I've been burned on this so many times because Mike Tomlin's been coaching for 20 years and I've been doing this for 15. Like, I know this man. He's unpredictable. It's the same man who was talking about you got to. This is not me taking this out of context. It's talking about you got to cut your eyelids off so that you don't sleep and you stay vigilant. That's a direct quote. The man's unhinged. Like, that's like some predator type of nonsense. Like,
It continues to win, man. That's what
he does. Like, he does, and and that's why they don't. That's why they don't fire him. I'm still confused on how someone could be forced to play board games like at gunpoint. But, thank you. No point. 2 RB and a flex. Etienne and Gus. And then
it's gonna be Ford, Etienne, Ridley.
I can play all 3. Ford, Etienne, Gus. Because it's standard. No point. So you're asking me who's most likely to score off this list? It's the first 3 guys. Because Gus is on an insane touchdown streak because they keep getting it to the 2-yard line, and then he gets a little bunny touchdown, and sometimes he does it twice, and I don't really see that stopping, by the way. And then Ford has the good matchup, and Etienne is Etienne. Whereas Madison, you're dealing with him being Madison and having half a job, and I don't want to play that. Amari Cooper has no quarterback, which is not ideal when you're going up against Pat Surtain all day. Don't want that. Hollywood we just talked about. So Ridley's the only other option. And Ridley has been a yo-yo all year. If I needed some sort of crazy 40, okay, Ridley.
Over Gus.
Yes, over Gus. But if I need points consistently, as much as I want to vomit, Gus Edwards has been consistently scoring touchdowns. That's just the way it is. Drop 1 and 18. Oh, Lord. I'm assuming he means Nico Collins.
Yeah. It's close between Connor and Johnson right now.
I'm so bad at 18, man. I don't play much 18. Like, I play in deeper leagues than this. Okay. It's whoever I would have rest of the season lowest at this point. You're not cutting Pittman.
Yep.
really don't envision a world where you're going to cut Kyron Williams because you waited this long.
Telling you, man, I think it's Connor.
I think it's Godwin in standard because he'd have to score to have value, and he doesn't get enough volume or yardage to. I'd probably cut Godwin in a standard league.
That's fair. It's close enough. All right. 2 RBs. No point.
Charbonnet, just because he's going to get the whole job.
Yep, and Warren.
Yeah, Charbonnet and Warren. It would be Singletary if Pierce gets ruled out again.
Even then, I'm not quite sure.
Daniels unite. The Daniels unite. Okay.
Tag team by Daniels.
We did. Sounds like my last trip to Vegas. Yeah. See? I got all kinds of inappropriate jokes.
Oh.
I have all kinds of inappropriate jokes that I'm not allowed to do. This is why we're not allowed to do the show drunk. This is why we're not allowed to do the show like on like Saturday nights when people have had a few, because it's all unairable. It's like that story I told you before about what I wanted to say to that lady at the post office. None of that's airable either. It's hilarious, but it's not airable. Like it's not an airable story. We could do NSFW shows for the patrons. That's what we talked about doing with Jack. Have Jack get margarita drunk and tell us what he really thinks about us. We did sit, right? Yes.
Yeah, Brown and
yes.
Well,
yes,
you didn't
yes,
do it.
No, I did.
Yeah,
It was the Steelers. It was the Steelers. And then we'll do tight end real quick.
Okay, tight end start. I'm cheating. It's Tanner Hudson.
Admits he's cheating.
It's not really a cheat. I just backup quarterback, hasn't seen a lot of usage. I had already had Hudson as a pretty good play. I think he's a safety blanket, and that's usually what they go to. So
now you're not actually cheating. Tanner Hudson is rated
not even on the board probably
low.
But I'm saying
no, he's on the board, but it's low. Yeah, he made the board.
Okay. I was like, I don't know how many people are ranking him, but I have him ranked decently high, just because I do think he can find a touchdown, and if he did it on what I think 5 targets last week. Worked out great.
For me, it's Isaiah Likely. That's right. I'm back on the bus. I'm back on the Isaiah Likely train. He was good last year when Andrews was hurt. You can't deny me that. Can't deny it.
The only issue I have with it is now they have Flowers.
I don't care. They still have. There's enough volume for Flowers to get a bump and for Likely to still matter without necessarily being Mark Andrews.
OBJ.
Don't care. OBJ has to do some magic to do anything. Otherwise, it's not enough to matter. Like we'll see how this goes, because your lovely Chargers football team stinks against the tight end.
Correct.
They are terrible against the pass, and they are especially terrible against the tight end over the middle of the field. So I'm
really hoping that they run.
Nobody said I had to marry the guy. I'm just saying I think he can get in the top 12 at tight end.
I get that. But again, I really think they're going to rub it in the face of the Chargers that, hey, look at Flowers, the wide receiver that you should have drafted right here.
They could do that
right in the face. Right.
Literally just by having him catch a touchdown. And not having to do any of the stuff you're saying. Either of those two possibilities are equally likely.
Instead, we have a guy
because you have no data. Because that's not a data-driven argument. I would be shocked.
Not this
year. Shocked.
Not this fantasy football season.
Yes. Okay, that's a good clarifier. That's how I was answering the question. If they go to the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's not really what your question is. The question I interpreted was for the fantasy season, and no. I'd be stunned. We only have like 3 games left in the regular season. And then at that point, what's the incentive to reactivate him Maybe like you reactivate him for like the last week of the year so he can go run around and get ready for the playoffs if you're going to do it. If he's ready, like what's the point? Like I wouldn't even risk getting him re-injured. You know you want to have him shake the rust off, so maybe you have him play a game or two, but you wouldn't have him play the whole game. You'd have him run out there and run around and try to get loose. You can't trust it. It's similar to how like the Bengals haven't technically put Joe Burrow in IR yet, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't know." They're really, I'm like, you probably
for your purposes, yeah, he's
you
done.
probably just put him on IR, guys. Like it's fine. Who's your sit, Jason? This is always hard because the options are so bad. There's so few names and the options are so bad.
Probably going to go Laporta.
Okay, Laporta is the one with the worst matchup from when I was looking at this, so I sort of get that.
That's part of that. He has the worst matchup. Last week he didn't do super. I mean, unless he catches a touchdown this week, I just don't see the need for him. With Montgomery back, it also hurts his volume because they're using Gibbs more. He's blocking more. It's more the fact that they're going to be running it with Montgomery in the red zone. All that just really leads to hurting him this week.
Yeah. And this week it's bad options, guys, because it's every week at tight end. So it's you're kind of splitting hairs amongst things once you get past that, because that is the thing that jumps off the page is Laporta has a really bad matchup, but a lot of good tight end matchups, just not a lot of good tight ends, you know. And you'd want to say sit in Njoku, but not after what he did last week.
Yeah,
so
15 targets.
You couldn't do that. There's no way you could justify it. You'd never live with yourself. And then every week we want to talk about, George Kittle suffers when all three.
Not the past 2 weeks.
That argument is not holding water very well right now, Jason. That lovely little cop-out argument.
It was great.
It was, and then now it's not working as good. So, and what's messed up is they're all doing decent enough.
Yeah,
everybody's
scoring, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, McCaffrey's doing fine. Ayuk has had some good games. Debo's doing enough to be relevant. McCaffrey is McCaffrey. Like it's just, boy, I don't want to hold on to Lenny. I never have.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier when he signed. I'm like, I don't understand why they're doing this.
If you have 3 running backs trying to share one job, you have no running back. It's not relevant.
That's part of the reason we're sitting Cook.
All it does is murder Cook. It does not help anyone. It literally, you know how they say like a rising tide lifts all boats? This is the opposite of that. This is the opposite of that idea. Like
that's a hole in the ocean and sucking everything in.
Lowering tide sinks everyone. And so when you add a third guy to that, I don't want any part of it. I just want to avoid the whole mess. It's not worth it.
It's like the Buffalo Bills are the black hole for running backs.
Yeah. And that's like since what? Thurman Thomas? Yeah. And by the way, if you know who Thurman Thomas is, it's time to schedule a prostate exam. Just so you know. That's a PSA for your health. Because if you even know who I'm talking about, you are old, my friend. Officially.
Yeah, because let's see. They've had Cook, Moss, Singletary, all this year have been RB1s at some point.
Damian Harris got hurt, otherwise he might have joined him.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. It's just not a good situation to deal with.
I mean, shoot, Murray is like just wrecking Cook. I do because he can't pass block, but still, it's so.
In terms of what? It's not points because Murray doesn't have anywhere near the number of points Cooks does. You're talking about usage, because
actual they're almost splitting.
Yeah, well, it's that's what I mean. It's kind of like it's like 60. It's not even 60 anymore. I think it's like 57, 30, whatever, in favor of Cook at the moment.
43.
Yeah, it's not great. Like it's something like that, and that's not what you were hoping for, because at one point in the year it was 70-30. And that's what you wanted when you invested in Cook. It was 70-30. By the way, that was the split in the preseason. That was the split at the beginning of the year, and that was the split up until they started basically losing, when they started getting cute. And so we'll see how the back half of this goes. Cook looked a lot better last week. in not a great matchup. So like we'll see if maybe that's part of their attempt to fix it, is to let Cook just do more and try and take some of the pressure off of. Look, what they've been doing ain't working. So you got to do something else, man. Like whether you believe in it or not, like I don't know what they're going to do. They can't keep doing what they've been doing because it's failing miserably. They're losing
Letting
games.
go of Brian Daboll was a mistake.
Well, the Giants might let you have him back.
Yeah.
My answer to your question, by the way, is not fun because I danced around it there, but I never gave like an actual answer, because everybody else except for the guys we listed has a really positive matchup that would make you not want to sit them. So it's going to be Cole Kmet. That's going to be my answer. I'm going to sit Cole Kmet
Right on the edge.
because the consistency's not there, and he's right on the edge. And I've already been
Not enough
public about
volume.
how not expecting Fields to do a whole lot in this game. So
Yeah.
Bears aren't good. Stop trying to make the Bears being good at things. The Broncos are turning the corner, which is very interesting. It's almost like that stat from the last couple of years where if the Broncos could average 19 points, their defense is good enough to make them a playoff team. It's almost like that is just right on the money. Because, man, when they average 19 points, they win the crap out of those games. That's what they've been doing recently. 24, 21, 24. Like, if you can score, if the Broncos can score 24 points, that defense is good enough to win games because they just turn the ball over enough. And they're really good to watch on defense. And they fixed a lot of their problems. Like, they had some issues with injuries at the beginning of the year that I don't think people were paying attention to at the national level.
Oh, yeah.
And then they fired some people in the background that I don't want to say locker room cancer, but when you get fired and then the team wins 4 games in a row, I feel like that just kind of answers the question, who was the problem? You fired 2 guys in reality, and the defense immediately played better. You traded 1 other guy and you fired 2 guys. And then suddenly it's a playoff defense again. It's like, okay, I think we've all decided who the problem was, and it's not Justin Simmons. Hasn't been playing great, but it wasn't Simmons' fault. So you're all gone, goodbye. And then it's kind of funny. Oh man, I forget his name, and it's the guy who used to be their coach. It's going to drive me nuts. The guy who used to coach Denver is Denver's current defensive coordinator. Oh man,
Vance Joseph?
nuts. Yes.
Yeah, you like that off the dome, baby. I was like,
yeah,
I have a general idea. There's a
yeah, I was gonna say, Vance Joseph. It's almost like they're listening to him. Finally, like they're like, it's like he fired everybody that he had a beef that they had beef. It's like, bye, okay, fine. You don't want to play here, bye it. Then don't play here. And then everybody else who wasn't here for the Vance Joseph era just started just like, okay, sure, like I don't care, like I don't know you. We'll just do it your way. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. It's a lot going on in the background because they've definitely figured out having a couple players get back from injury really helped too. But they've definitely figured something out.
Especially, yeah, because it was what, an O lineman and a linebacker or a D lineman and a linebacker.
It was a D lineman and a linebacker who they fired, and then they traded a guy.
Okay, but I meant
who was also on defense,
also injured.
Yeah.
Okay,
also injured.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it was 2 people right in the middle that they were hurt, and so when they started to get healthy, it
took their defense without those people. Run defense especially was like the worst in the league, and then with them back, it's like 27th.
Yeah,
which is not last. So, like it definitely helps. Like not getting gashed for 70 yards at a rip really makes this game a lot easier to play. But yeah, it's just the forcing of the turnovers is really what it comes down to. They're very good at that, and they fly to the football. They're fun to watch. So, and it is kind of funny because they also we talked about this, and I talked about it with Lance. The whole like let Russ cook thing, that's long gone. You're going to be game manager, Russ, and you're going to run the football, and you're going to do what I say, and you're going to do what I say, or I'm going to fire you. And it literally has turned into we tried it my way, and that ain't working. And I'm tired of looking like a clown on the national stage because that's what was happening. And I think that's why they came back and were like, all right, dude, tried that, failed miserably. So now you're going to do what I tell you. And he's like, well, I don't really want to run the ball that much, like him himself. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I'm not interested in this conversation. Like you do what I say, and if I need you to run for 3 yards, you're gonna go do it. It's part of his game. He needs to use it. But if he's gonna only have like averaging like 5 incompletions a game, this is why I was saying he's a borderline QB2 in fantasy, kind of for the rest of the year because it's not sexy. But if you threw for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns and didn't turn the ball over in any way, shape, or form,
Flirting with
like,
QB1.
you're at least on the radar.
Yeah. And if you add some rushing to that,
yeah, exactly. Just I don't even need that much rushing at that point. I need like 30 yards would be great. Like,
that's kind of what I'm.
If I could get about 30 yards a game, boy, that'd be great. Like, yeah, play a clean game, 220, get 250. That'd be a bonus. 300 would be the dream, but you ain't getting that. 250 would be loving it. Sweet spot. 250, no turnover.
They had a really good wide receiver. They might be able to hit the 300 mark.
They have a good wide receiver.
They have Mims, and they're not giving him enough volume.
Well, they have Cortland Sutton, is what I meant.
Well, yeah, but that's a very, very different skill set for.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying. But I'm fine with it. You need that skill set. You need a big body guy to go up and high point the football in the end zone, and he does that. Boy, oh boy, is he not fast the way he used to be? But boy, oh boy, can he do that job?
Yeah.
He reminds me of like, it sort of reminds me of like the. What's that?
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, like Michael Thomas. That's the current.
Our comparison.
Yeah. Well, it just also reminds me sort of like the arc of Demaryius Thomas in a lot of ways, just to use an older example, because Thomas used to be a huge burner. He was faster than Sutton ever was.
Yeah.
And but they're the same like rough size. And you I remember watching late career Thomas, who couldn't run at all anymore. But man, he could still go up and high point that football. And it's like you can play for a lot of years, man, if you can do that. Like you can keep playing. But yeah, he is like very much current career Michael Thomas. That's like he's getting into the salad days of the Michael Thomas career, to use a Raising Arizona reference. Like that's oh. Nah, it's interesting. I have them right next to each other in my rankings this week.
Probably going on Kincaid.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Kincaid, but it's really close.
Yeah,
like really close. I have them one spot apart in my ranking.
Really depends on what you need here. If you're looking for upside, Kittle. If it's just getting,
I need points to win. It's Kincaid will get you something. Yeah,
yeah.
Because Kittle could disappear and turn back. The ball could be over, and he could turn back into a pumpkin.
Yeah.
In that game, especially because it's a division game. But we'll see. That game also. That's not a great argument, because that game also is open to all manner of schlock because it is a division game. Those two teams know each other's tendencies so well that it's hard to predict.
Except for now, the 49ers have a better defense. Like they added they added one D lineman, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
Or D end, not D lineman. Sorry.
Is this PPR? Okay.
Yeah. Depends on your depth at running back.
A little bit.
Because it's either Connor or Higgins. I'm a little nervous on. It might be Johnson. I don't know, man. They're all kind of right. Olave, you're not getting rid of. The playoff schedule right now is too good. You can't do it, especially with Thomas out.
I really don't think I would bring myself to cutting Olave.
Yeah, no.
In a normal world, I would never talk to you about cutting T. Higgins. I'd have to give up my membership card in the fan club and everything. There's a tattoo that I'd have to get lasered off that is wildly inappropriate, so I can't show it on camera. But yeah, it's couldn't do that. I'd have to. This year would be the one year you might consider it, just because of the whole quarterback situation.
That is the one worry. I'm very.
It does kind of depend on your
and the injury,
because you've got 4 wide receivers that are all wide receiver 3s.
The other,
and then you have Connor. So what are my other running backs?
No, again, the thing with Higgins now, though, do you really come back? Your contract is up. Like, why would you?
You people are not understanding. He is going to come back. They keep saying this. He's practicing today.
I understand that, but
he practiced today. It's not like he's just going to sit out the rest of the season. The reason you wouldn't do that is because even if you were leaving, let's say that every report is wrong and that it's a massive smokescreen by the Bengals PR department, the famously competent Bengals PR department. that that everything is a smokescreen and it's all lies, and that Higgins is leaving at the end of the year, and that there's no way that he resigns with the Bengals, and the Bengals aren't going to be able to figure that out. Okay, fine. Let's assume that that's all lies, and he is leaving. Okay, then you're going to the open market. You have to put out tape. The last thing people saw of you cannot be you getting hurt and then having a boo-boo and then having to miss the rest of the season. It will dramatically lower what you're worth, even though he is a young, talented wide receiver that will still have plenty of a market. But you cannot leave people with a taste like that in your mouth. You have to go out and run around and prove that you're healthy if you're leaving. So at the end of the day, that's why you come back. Money. Your money is being impacted by you not playing. That is what any quality agent would tell you. That's it. You have to come out and run around and catch some passes and look like you're healthy if you think you're leaving. If he ain't leaving, which is my personal belief on the matter, I believe that the Bengals actually weirdly are telling you the truth when they say that they're going to move heaven and earth to figure out the cap to get that done, or they're going to try to franchise tag him to keep him around for another year to try and figure that out. And they're willing to sacrifice defense to do it. I've heard that from the Bengals.
They don't really have a defense, so it doesn't matter.
Right. So we go all in. Like we literally whip it out and put it on the table. Literally what we're doing. They've already been doing this. Like that's you. Oh, and bye Joe Mixon. My new running back cost $1. My new running back cost $1. All my other wide receivers that aren't Chase and Higgins cost $1. My defense now costs $1. Special teams, $1. You bet, $1. And then I'm going to go spend all my money on wide receivers and O-line to make sure that Joe Burrow, to make sure Joe Burrow doesn't die. That's the plan I've heard them publicly talk about. It's also not the dumbest plan I've ever heard in my entire life. Not the stupidest idea I've ever heard. It's not maybe how I would live my life, but like I really don't believe that they're going to just let him walk away. Now, if somebody can offer them like the sun, the moon, and the stars, and some crazy contract that he can't possibly walk away from, should he actually hit free agency, okay, and that could happen. The Panthers there's a lot of teams that actually have a lot of money. Like, there's a lot of teams that have a lot of money and need wide receivers at the way this is shaking out. And what's Higgins? 25?
25 or 26.
It's something like that. He's still got. My point is, you still got at least 4 years.
Let's be realistic. Go 6.
Yeah, I know, but you're only going to give him a 4-year deal.
That's fair.
So that's the only reason that's like a checkbox. It's just a binary check. You would do a 4-year deal with an out year either after the second year or the third year. That's the standard big money wide receiver contract at this point. It's 4 years. It's like, what is it, 50 million? It's like 4 years, 50 million, and
right now he was paid 4 years, 8 million.
Well, yeah, it's his rookie deal.
So his get him into, let's say he wants to be top 10.
I don't know if he could quite get to top 10, but he probably could get close.
Okay, well, you're looking
10.
at.
Give me like 10.
10 right now is 71 mil.
Okay, so it's a little more than I thought. Fine, I could see that happening. 4 years, 71 mil, 35 guaranteed, half the money up front, rest of the money's backloaded. It's probably how that would work. Because you'd have an out year after 2 years if they needed to move on from the contract. They would give themselves that way out of the. That's the way it would work. So the question is, can the Bengals figure out how to come up with $35 million? Maybe. Like, if you get creative, I think you could. I think they could afford it, is my point. Like, if they really want to afford it, I think they could afford it. And stay under the cap. The question is, what the hell is that going to do to your defense and some of the other areas of your team? If you don't care, then that's if your plan is no, I want O-line and Burrow. By the way, Daniel, in PPR, rest of season, I probably would either cut Higgins if I was afraid. Is this one of your 8-team leagues or is this a 10-team league? Also matters to me. Yeah, my point being, in a league that's shallow enough, Higgins could conceivably come back to you because people know that he's kind of damaged goods for the rest of the year. And it's not a keeper league, I'm assuming. Connor is gone the minute you cut him. You heard my whole rant about running back. Okay, 10-team. You heard my whole rant about running back. The minute Connor leaves your team, he ain't coming back. So you got to be prepared for that idea. Some of these receivers you could conceivably reacquire. Like, you could cut Deontay if you're not playing him this week, and assuming he doesn't put up a 40, you could probably just pick him back up if you wanted to. I would probably narrow it to Higgins, Deontay, or Godwin. And normally Higgins wouldn't enter that conversation, but he might in this case because of the injury. And I think I could use that to my advantage to try to reacquire him if I needed to. And he's the one playing with a backup quarterback. So it's which of those three do you feel most comfortable cutting? Ask yourself this question. Eliminate the other players and narrow it down to Godwin, Higgins, and Deontay. Which one of those, if they were all healthy, do you feel like you would never start? And that's your answer to this question, which is why I'm saying it kind of preference at a certain level between those three. I would probably recommend on balance, taking all bias out of it, probably recommend dropping Higgins because I feel like I could get that back if I needed it. And he was somehow good. That's the one that has the most baggage. So it's the one that has the greatest likelihood of returning. All right. Last question for tonight, folks. And then we're going to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Last question. So I hope we've enjoyed hanging out with everybody as always. This show's actually gone longer than our normal show because we have no natural stopping point, apparently, with halftime of the football game. So that was an interesting thought experiment. Last question. Daniel, Connor, Javonte, Madison, Ford, pick one. I eliminate Madison immediately.
There's only one answer for me, and it's Ford.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to double check it, but I think I'm doing that. I'm doing that from memory, so bear with me for 1 second. Because, I know where I have... Yeah.
The PPR is what kind of pushes them ahead of the other two.
Yes, Ford. It's PPR and it's matchup based. I'm confirming my rankings. That is correct. Connor's not that far off of it, but Connor is in a really frustrating space right now where they've relegated him from pass catching work because they're just not throwing to any running backs at all, which I don't understand because
DeMarcado might be coming back, which could help. Maybe.
I don't care if DeMarcado catch passes. I need Connor to catch passes. Like I don't give a damn what DeMarcado does. You think I care if Arizona wins football games? That has nothing to do with this. What is this? What is this show? Oh, God. Everybody's on a serious note. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody enjoys time with the family or whatever it is you guys are doing out there around this, possibly hiding in the den, watching football tomorrow, trying to avoid people. Beyond that, we will be. Mason and Vishal will be on Friday for Black Friday Locked In. Those guys are going to do a live stream on Black Friday. More power to them. I thought they would pre-record that show, but no, they want to do it live. So they're nuts, as we all know. So yeah, tune in for that because I'm sure they'll have some awesome Sunday lines. There's going to be a lot less games on Sunday, so it might want to spice it up a little bit. And Jason and I will be on. Jason will be on. I'll be running the chat, obviously, for the final countdown on Sunday, and looking forward to that. That will be a lot of fun. And safe travels tomorrow. Good luck in your games. Good luck as trade deadlines are rapidly closing and leagues are starting to do the final push for the playoffs. You'll notice a shift in our show, I'm sure, as we spend more time setting lineups and less time talking about trades. It always happens around this time of year. So, Jason, any final thoughts on the way out here?
Got nothing. Just happy Thanksgiving. I guess my big thing for fun, there are two teams that you can spell using the word Thanksgiving. So, fun fact for you.
Okay. You going to tell them what they are, or are you going to expect
Vikings and Giants.
Okay. I was wondering if that might be some sort of like Cowboys and Lions reference that, like, because they always play on Thanksgiving. Like, I don't know what that was. And on that super climactic ending, that didn't end like a wet fart at all. Jason and I will see you on Sunday for the final countdown Do 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 do. Copyright.